Hey, there we go. Good morning. Welcome back to my live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is August 16th, 2018. We're going to write some code today. We're going to talk a little bit about Visual Studio, and we're going to learn a little bit more about the CQRS architecture pattern. Thanks so much for our hosts, Code Rush and Clark.io. Awesome stuff there. Thanks so much for the hosting. In the chat room, good morning. Wow, we got a bunch of folks here already. Good day to the folks out there in Asia and Australia. Ashley's here. Fretya, Don Wibbier. Hey, Don, good to see you. Good morrow, aspiring DevOps guru and Cryptrix. Good evening, Ozcoder. Woodsy is here. Buccaneer Monkey. That's a candidate for the handle of the day. I like that one. IT Goron, hey, good to see you. Lane Ling, Bilal Hyder, hey, Bilal. There's Kevin Griffin, hey, Kevin. Kevin hosted his user group on Twitch the other night. Make sure you check out his stream, One Kev Griff. He's really starting to ramp up what he's doing on Twitch, and I think he's got a lot of great material that he's going to bring there. So user group the other night, I think, did you record that, Kevin? If it's available in your past videos, check it out. Some neat stuff there about terraforming from the Hampton Roads, Virginia user group. So you don't even need to be in Virginia, and you can attend the user group. Really cool stuff. Make sure you throw Kevin a subscription. And last night you recorded your Two Frugal Dudes podcast on Twitch. That was pretty cool to see also. So if you're interested in saving a couple of bucks, rubbing your nickels together and getting ahead, check it out. It looks like Kevin's doing a great job there with that. Good day from the Ukraine. Good to see you. I'm terrible at pronouncing that name, but make sure you support Kevin. I want to support all the folks that want to join us here in the Twitch community, producing live content, which it's a little bit easier than you might think, but at the same time, it's a little nerve-wracking. Stage fright when you go on stage is one thing. It's another thing when I'm talking to my wall and a camera that's pointing at me, and there's friends out there in the chat room. And we're all here to support each other. Hey, Sarnal, good to see you. And W. Shaddix, hello. So I'm wearing my Doctor Strange hat today. The strange Doctor Strange hat that even though I try and work on that filter, my chroma key filter, it still always gets just the one side looking a little past through. Let me see if I turn this light off. It helps a little bit. All right. I'm going to put that back on. So I'm wearing the Doctor Strange hat today because I got my hands on the Blu-ray of the Avengers Infinity War movie and was watching that last night. Oh, I love that movie. Really good stuff. If you're a fan of the comic book movies, they literally throw everything at it. It is wall-to-wall action. So much fun. Not too much story because the story's been building up for 10 years. And this is the culmination of it. Really, really great movie. I enjoyed it. It's a popcorn movie. You're not going to cry. Well, you're going to cry at the end. There's no real love story in it. Yeah. So, Janescu, I've watched the Jurassic Park movies. I'm not a fan of the Jurassic Park movies. After the first one, don't you people know you don't go on the island with the dinosaurs? They will eat you. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. Yeah. So, let's see what else. And, Brave Cobra, thank you for joining us. Banifus, you're just sour. You were only cast in the first one. Kevin, thank you for the host. I appreciate that. Yes, people taste good slathered in barbecue sauce. I agree, Don. SZ19, hello, good morning. So a couple things I want to do today. I want to make sure I want to throw a big shout out, a big thank you to our guests yesterday, Carl Franklin, Richard Campbell. This was the first time I tried this, and I think it worked great. We did a crossover podcast live stream. So we started the live stream, and then we talked for a little bit while we were setting up the podcast recording, and we recorded a .NET Rocks live on the show yesterday. I know it was kind of an off time for some folks that normally tune in here in the morning. It's evening in Asia and Australia, India late at night. But I encourage you, check out the video. It's over on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, if you want to see about that. Take a peek behind the scenes at how it worked and some of the sound effects I dropped in that kind of threw Carl and Richard off a little bit. I didn't tell them I was going to do that. I just kind of did it, and it went perfect. But that podcast will be available on their feed in the next few weeks. We'll see it pop up over there. Tons of fun. So, thank you so much. I'm seeing the comments about how people enjoyed the show. That's great. So, Carl and Richard, in the chats that I've had with them, they see the potential after podcasting for more than 15 years and putting out more than 1,500 shows. They see the potential for this medium, and there's definitely some interest there to do something. And then they ruined my family-friendly rating. Yes, they did. Thanks, Carl. Speaking of Carl, I'm going to play some music to code by today. I'm going to play a song called Cyan. There we go. Music to code by, of course, written by our friend Carl Franklin. We saw him yesterday. Carl's graciously allowed us to play music to code by so that we can focus on the coding we're going to do. And I encourage you to check it out also. You can get Music to Flow By. That's the subscription app. musictoflowby.com. It's a great app for your phone, whether it's Android or iOS. You can subscribe to it, and every couple months you'll get a free new song. Well, you'll get a song that'll be added to your collection. Really great stuff. Songs like this, Cyan, and all the songs that we play here in the background on this show are part of the Music to Code By and Music to Flow By collection. So check it out. We want to make sure we thank Carl for letting us play his music, and we want to support Carl because this music are really great. So check it out. Hey, Joker. Good to see you. And thank you for the host, Dev Chatter. All right. So, a couple things that I want to do today. Before we get too far into things, where do we want to go here? Yeah. So, I added there's another event that we popped in the box down here. Angular Mix. I've been asked to give an ASP.NET Core workshop at Angular Mix in October in Orlando. I hope if you're interested in Angular, the Angular JavaScript framework, you want to learn about how ASP.NET Core works with that, I will be in Orlando teaching that workshop with our friend Shane Boyer. So you can get tickets, you can come out and see us. I'm always happy to see folks at events that I'm speaking at. Where in Orlando? It's down the road and around the corner at the hotel with the thing in the front. You can't miss it. It's perfect location. I gotta tell you, it's going to be a great time. I forget where Angular Mix is. Let's look it up. AngularMix.com. And let's go over to the scene so you can see the thing with the stuff. There it is, right up there. It's at the Royal Pacific Resort at Universal Studios. At the Royal Pacific Resort at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. Operators are standing by. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. Does the event have a name? Angular Mix. It's right there. Universally. Yes, it's universally at the Universal Studios. And there's speaker people here, folks that we know and love. John Papa, Dan Wallin, Mike Brocky. So, he's working for Google now? I didn't know Mike was working for Google. Whoa. Was strange to see reversed on the stream. Yeah, because of the way that I broadcasted yesterday. That was kind of cool. It's funny, last time I was in Pittsburgh, I kept calling Mike the Angular guy. All good fun. We're friends. So John Papa has a channel here on Twitch also, and he hasn't streamed in a while, but I know he's looking to come back. So great selection of speakers here. Let me see if some of the other folks here that I recognize. Simona Kotlin, there's Shane Boyer, Ward Bell. Ward's a snappy dresser, if you've ever seen Ward speak. Very snappy. He's got quite the fashion sense. Mike works on the Angular CLI. He was doing it as an open source contributor for a while. I didn't realize he got picked up by Google. And WebAssembly is universally accepted. It is. But there's still a bit of overhead with downloading all that stuff. So we crossed 3,200 for the Rainbow Beard Challenge here. And some of our friends out there at a couple of companies, I'm not going to mention any names just yet, but they've heard about the Rainbow Beard Challenge, and they want to push me a little bit here. They wanted to throw down the gauntlet, and I have an infinity gauntlet behind me actually in my room. It's a cookie jar with it's shaped like the infinity gauntlet, and it's behind the greens. It's over the Anyways, so what they've said was, we're gonna get you to that 5,000, and if we get to that 5,000. I want you to wear a unicorn hat. A unicorn hat? Game on. Let's see what happens. So, do you know if they have any student tickets? I don't know about that. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm going to move this down a little bit. There we go. Get a little breathing room for the chat. So the Rainbow Beard Challenge is still on. 3218 is where we're at. I want to pay up. I want to see us succeed on that. All right. We've got our music playing. I wanted to talk a little bit about Visual Studio 2017. 15.8 was released 2 days ago. I've been using the previews here on stream. So some of the features that are in it you may have seen me use. But I want to make sure that I call this out. The Visual Studio teams did a lot of really great stuff as part of this. Multi-caret editing. That's kind of weird. Being able to put the cursor in several places on screen at the same time and edit all together. There's now keyboard layouts for ReSharper and Visual Studio Code that you can use as your default inside of Visual Studio. Go to all window improvements, more refactorings, more code styles. Really neat stuff to make us more productive here. Better performance improvements around Git branch checkout and branch switching. You've seen me switch here on stream. No tattoos. I saw that, Ace Flames here. No tattoos. Hat, yes. Tattoos, no. Test performance have improved by 82%. That's amazing. There's now CPU usage tools. There's performance tooling inside of Visual Studio that's really, really good. C++ development. I don't do too much C++ development, but you're welcome to check that stuff out. F# 4.5 and F# tools for Visual Studio. Always good to see that improving. TypeScript 3, support for Vue.js, ESLint support. You've seen the ESLint errors popping out on my Visual Studio. Control Freak, nice. That's pretty cool, Janescu. Let's see, what else do we go? Library Manager for Visual Studio. Yep, for the Web Manager, the Web Tools Library Manager. Single project Docker container. We haven't hit this yet. Maybe we'll jump into that and see what that looks like. Mobile development for Android. I need to talk about Xamarin for a minute here. But a new Xamarin Android designer. Cool. I like being able to work in just one tool. .NET Core SDK 21400. So we'll do that update here on stream. .NET Framework 4.7.2 ships with it. Good. I don't like having to patch and do all that stuff. And there's my buddy John Montgomery, Director of Program Management for Visual Studio. Really cool stuff. Now, what I want to mention about Xamarin, we originally had this Xamarin workshop scheduled for Friday, and a couple of issues have come up this week that are preventing us from being able to run that. Some folks have been called away for emergency. A couple of emergencies have come up. A couple of other problems have arisen that need to be addressed, and we're not going to be able to do it this week. So we're going to move out to October and reschedule it at some point out there. September's already crazy. I've already got a workshop planned for you for September. I can't tell you what it is yet until I get the go-ahead from my marketing team. But it's a sponsored workshop. I'm going to be syndicating back to this channel, and we're going to broadcast it live on Visual Studio channel, and it's going to be amazing. So keep an eye out for that. But we're going to be live streaming from Ignite. We're going to be running our 24-hour .NET Conf broadcast. Here it is, .NET Conf. We've got all the agenda locked in for .NET Conf. So the full schedule's down at the bottom, but we're going to go 8 to 5 Pacific time the first 2 days. There's a virtual attendee party that we're going to be hosting here on Twitch, not this channel, but over on Visual Studio, and we'll syndicate it back over to here. But you're going to get a chance to win prizes, win swag that we'll ship out to you. And then starting at 5 o'clock at the end of day 2, we're going around the world, 24 hours, sessions from every time zone. I am so thrilled to do this. Broadcast live on Mixer, on Twitch. We're going to have an amazing time learning from folks all over the world, including Troy Hunt talking about Have I Been Pwned? We've got some Visual Studio Mac tips and tricks. We've got Tien talking about modular web applications, right? Divya is going to show us how to get started with DevOps in Azure. We've got Damir building applications with Angular 6, and he's going to be teaching primarily in Russian. So if that's one of the languages you prefer to listen and learn with, Damir will be helping us out. AI for every developer. We've got some Italians that are going to be presenting as well, talking about peach pie. What else have we got here? Jürgen in Germany is going to talk about customizing ASP.NET Core. I've worked with Jürgen on a couple other things. I'm really excited to see this session. We've got some Brazilians. Gabriel is going to be talking about real-world use cases for .NET and .NET Core. F# 4.5, cognitive services with Xamarin. A lap around docsmicrosoft.com with Myra, and she's also going to be presenting in Brazilian Portuguese. So Miguel, if you've seen Miguel Castro talking about retro computing and stuff at the command line, he's going to talk to us all about that. Oh, Kevin, thanks so much for the subscription. And of course, I match all of our subscriptions, and we're getting ready to make a big donation here at the end of the month to Girl Develop It. I match those donations, and my employer matches those donations, those subscriptions. We turn it into a fat donation, and we're going to make a big donation for the beginning of the school year to Girl Develop It. All of the cheers, all of the subscriptions are going to be sent over there at the end of the month, and I think they're going to be pretty surprised and pretty happy with what they're getting. So thank you so much, Kevin, and you're going to get the .NET Bot emote that you can use in this chat room, in your chat room, everywhere on Twitch. Just type in C#bot and have fun with that. Let's see what else. So all kinds of great stuff. That's all I'm going to talk about .NET Conf. We've got Ignite later in the month. I've got a couple other trips planned. Capital B. There you go. So let me see. Let me go back to the chat room here. Oh, Meat Popsicle.
More sub for the donation.
Thanks so much, Meat Popsicle. I appreciate that. I haven't seen you in a little bit, but thank you so much for sharing your Twitch Prime subscription here with us. You're going to get, of course, that C# bot. You get a little coffee mug indicator next to your name, like Kevin has there, and Tagaron has the blue one for sticking around for a few months. And absolutely, we will match and make that donation. Let me just look over what we got here. Android emulator works with Hyper-V too? Yes. WebTools Library Manager sounds very interesting as someone that would rather not bring in Webpack. Yes. Docker. Yeah, Docker and VirtualBox have a weird love-hate relationship right now. Smab, I was going to move CoreWiki to Library Manager. Yeah, I think that's a fine idea. Minimize the number of tools that we need. Absolutely. Hanselman streamed to YouTube as he isn't getting used to set up stream on Twitch yet. So the boss is working on getting set up with Twitch. He's getting there. He's got a couple other things he's got to take care of, but it's something he's very interested in doing. We'll be in Belgrade for several meetings that week, so no chance for me to see anything live. Well, so everything's recorded for .NET Conf, but then that 24-hour stream, you might be able to catch some of it live because it's 24 hours. Let's see, there we go. I pop in and out. Busy season for your job at the moment. You know what? Busy's a good thing. All right, let's move along. And let's go back to our CoreWiki project. CoreWiki, it does the thing. Here we go. Let's go full screen code. Ah, much better. So much more room for me to stretch out and write code. Okay. We've got a couple pull requests out here. Chris Jones, let me check in with this one. So minor tweaks to the dark theme CSS. I've tried the suggestions of updating the SCSS and no additional changes here yet. Let's see, where's this going into? It's going into the dev branch. Let's take a look, see. Files changed. Theme dark CSS, that's the only one that's changed. So he didn't push the SCSS file changes, the SAS file changes, up into this. Okay, so I'm going to hold off on that still. And then Brave Cobra and Ashley both took a shot at adding tests and simplifying, doing some improvements to how I was mocking and interacting with the Mediator object for our unit tests that go along with that. CW, we need I'm gonna need like a CoreWiki emote at some point here. We've done so much great work on this. Oh, that reminds me. Oh my gosh, I can't forget this. There was a comment last time about, hey, where can I go to see all the videos about CoreWiki? Check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out. So we've already got this list of shows here, and this is a pain in the neck to manage because, damn, there's a lot here. So I actually created a playlist called Building the CoreWiki. And here it is. I have it in most recent first order, but you can go all the way back and you can even watch that first show from Dev Intersection in Orlando. So all of the development that we've done together on stream is here in these 43 videos. That's carry the one. That's like 90 hours of content. The CoreWiki. Yeah. So, good morning, Triple Diamonds. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So, we've done a lot here with the CoreWiki project, and we're going to continue I think we're having a lot of fun building this. And I'm going to continue updating this playlist along with my normal Fritz and Friends playlist as we do more work on this. So there you go. One place that you can go and watch everything as we're building the core wiki. Yeah, that's a thing, right? It's a world exclusive. Yeah, it is. So, all right, so Brave Cobra and Ashley both were trying to solve this problem that I was running into with how do I test the get method here? So this get method is doing a check to say, well, do we have the article that you're trying to create? Do we already have it? And if it does exist, you really should be doing an edit, not a create. If it doesn't exist, well, let's seed the page with that title that you requested. And right now that these tests are working properly for me. But when you look at the test that I had to run through to make that work, right? I ended up creating, I called it fake Mediator, right? That I could set up my fake response over here. And that's okay. That does a thing. It's a little bit of extra code here that I need to maintain. But if possible, I'd rather use my mock framework and not have to create a fake class that implements the interface and just hangs out there for no reason other than to do this thing. Ashley had a simplification here, and I want to show what Ashley put together for us. Creating a mock mediator the way that I was trying to go, and it looks like Ashley was actually able to get where to go. Remove the fake mediator stuff to set up, but down here, mediator setup and returns async, and got the returns async to work here. Cool. This looks promising. And Brave Cobra came through and created some tests for OnPost so that we can see and verify that the post operations run properly. Now, the post operation, if you look at the page, that's not the page. That's the page. When the post occurs, we grab the user, and we grab the user's name claim. Name claim? That sounds like a thing. Hey, Stool Penner, thanks for joining us. We're working on the core wiki, as you can see. Brave Cobra referencing the core wiki. The only core wiki. It is the core wiki of the internet. I can't back that up. I can't. No, it's not that impressive, Ric Flair, I promise. So to test this, we have a little bit more setup that we need to do. Core wiki of the wiki of cores. Maybe. So there's a little bit of setup work here, and Brave Cobra went through and built a couple of tests here that look like they're going to work, and also it took a shot at simplifying the get existing article and how I was working with my fake mediator there. So these two are working on really the same spot. So let's see what we can do to get these merged in and increase our test coverage for this create page, and then hopefully move on to another page where we can implement our some more of our CQRS pattern. Oh, look at this, and we're talking about default on cancellation token. Let's take a look. I'm going to start. Let me start with Brave Cobra's work here to bring in that additional post. And then the test for the post interaction, and then we'll bring in Ashley's simplification and see if we can apply some of Ashley's logic to some of the work that Brave Cobra did and hopefully end up with a much better set of tests between everybody contributing together. And this is what I really like about this stream and this working together as a community, right? Is Brave Cobra and Ashley both had really good ideas here, and now we're gonna bring them together. And here on stream, we're gonna see if we can apply that and take that next step with the idea and learn a little bit, about what we weren't able to accomplish last time. So Brave Cobra says, we depend on the user being logged in at the moment. That's true, because the create operation inside of our wiki, in order to create an article, we want folks to be logged in. We don't want anybody to just create articles. So we need to mock the page context, and in ASP.NET Core, the page context is what contains the information about the current user. So that's what's going to give us the author part of the article. Makes sense. Change the logger factory to mock to an actual one with a little di. This I have a challenge with. This I have a little bit of a challenge with, because when I'm writing unit tests, to have dependency injection feels like an anti-pattern, right? To have an inversion of control container there feels a little weird. Why create the container to inject something when you can just inject it when you create it yourself? As that was easier than mocking it all out. Yeah, I think I may change that back. Let's take a look. So Brave Cobra is verifying three things. Mediator has been called correctly. Makes sense. The article repository has been called to check whether the topic didn't already exist. Okay. And that we're being redirected to the new article. That sounds like some good tests for us to verify. So I'm not going to directly squash and merge, because I want to take a look at what we have here. I want to learn from Brave Cobra's work more than just merging that stuff in together. So let's do this, and I want to make sure I'm running Karnak in the background. Cool. And let's bring in those changes. There are my Karnak indicators. Wow, Meat Popsicle, that was 6 months? Oh my goodness. All right. So everything is merged here, and we're in a new branch. So let's take a look. So now, right, I think you saw I got green checks popping up here down the side to indicate that these lines are now being tested, right? The test explorer, we've now got 24 tests, right? There's all of our onGet async. So I thought we added some. Oh, okay. Okay. So here's OnPost async for the create. All right, that's our new test down here. Expected slug, fake topic, some content. Expect this type of command to be created. Okay. Article repository, new mock article repository. Cool. So this is how we right, we create a fake, not a fake. We call it a mock version of this, right? It's an interface that we're replacing with something that looks like that, but we can set up appropriate expectations for how the interactions go. And that's what's happening here. Did it appropriately ask for is topic available with that slug, right? The fake topic name. And because this is what we're actually trying to create. And then created a mock iMediator. Setup, mediator, send. So Mediator, this is the framework we're using to create our CQRS interactions, right? Our command, query, responsibility, separation interactions. We're going to send on to the Mediator a create new article command, okay, and a cancellation token. Returns task from default, task from result, a default unit. Okay, because this is actually not going to return anything. Create model. Okay, so this is the model that we're what is that doing? Why are we passing in? Oh, okay, creates the create page model. Okay. Page context, and then this is, right, we needed a user information. So claim username, that's fine. Okay. So we created these 3 claims. We created an identity that contains those claims, a principal that contains the identity. This is the way that identity works inside of ASP.NET Core. Your identity is actually what's called a principal. A principal can have several identities that go with it, not just Jeff Fritz in my database, but also C# Fritz from Twitter, C# Fritz from GitHub. Those are additional identities that contain other claims that we can check. But for the purposes of this, we only need one identity with several claims there. Oh, Gareth, you need to learn more about identity. We did a couple streams about identity a few weeks ago, setting up authorization around some of the features here in Core Wiki. So we have a default context, user equals this principal, okay? And then for the page context, we need model state, action context, empty model metadata. This feels that this goo here, not a fan of. I understand why we need to do it. I feel like this is something that the ASP.NET framework should be able to help us with, and not require us to manage. It's like I want to be able to just default this as I create and interact with it. Now, do we really work with ModelMetadataProvider? Is that... Yeah, this feels kind of weird. Just copied from the Stack Overflow. I get it. I get it, Brave Cobra. What do I got here? Alright. So, that makes sense, and I get what's going on there with the page context. And I feel like this could almost be only because we're going to use this in other places. We're going to need to use this. I like that. Brave Space Cobra. Nice. Nice. I feel like this is something that we're going to end up using and doing in other places throughout the project when we're building these tests. So I feel almost like we need to have a page context utilities or a page context extensions class where we can build this out with some of these options for us automatically. That might be some cool refactoring to do. I'll go back and finish reviewing the post here because I'm really interested how this finishes. And I've also got a little hesitation. I think we may be testing too much during this unit test, because we have a bit of setup here, and further down here we have a few verifies, and asserts. I'm curious if we're doing too much in one test, and if it makes sense to break it out as several. Oh, good. Okay, Brave Cobra thinks sounds like we like the idea of simplifying some of our page context interactions that we're gonna have to do again and again and again. Do it. We will. So we're making sure that we're doing a redirect to the wiki page. So this would be that view, right? So view the page you just created. That's just one view. Yeah. Yeah. I think... Yeah. We still have to go through and do all the validation, make sure all the validation happens. It does feel heavy. It does make sense that it's all here. I can see breaking this out and having this across several different tests so that we can get into a couple of these just a little bit further, really peel back what's going on in there, and not so much pin down the syntax, but the functionality. But it's a great shot at getting this pinned down and ensuring that it works. Live unit testing is so cool. It is. TDD advocates probably hate this. Yeah, the fact that we're writing tests after the fact, too bad. This is the state that we're in, and this is the state that many brownfield applications are in, right? Those applications that are already built. So this test looks good. If I go back to the create page, and we go down to the post, right? Nothing's changed in here. It's all in the tests. So I'm pretty happy with this. All of our tests run properly. I'll do a quick run all. And come on. Let's go. Thank you. So I love that all my tests run in 1/3 of a second. So really cool to see that and get that instant validation. So let's go ahead and merge this. Thank you for adding these tests. They help make our application more reliable. Awesome. Okay. Now let's take a look at what Ashley had for us. Simplifying some of the test code that we had here. So now we've got a little bit of a conflict because Brave Cobra's changes came in, and now I got to bring this in and kind of merge. Gareth says, I'm a TDD advocate, TDD, test-driven development. And while I prefer writing tests up front, I prefer writing tests after to having no tests. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and it is what it is. So let's start merging in Ashley's changes. So I'm going to git check out the previous branch, git pull, and then I'm going to delete Brave Cobra's branch. And now let's bring in Ashley's changes. All right, so here's our conflict that's in create tests CS, which is who to thunk it. Same place we were just working. Okay. Okay, so down here, the additional OnPost, the OnPost async should create, yeah, that's fine. We want that. This is the change here. One of the changes here. Fake mediator and new create model. So with Ashley's changes, we don't need this. And instead, we have mediator setup operations occur here. So let's give that a try. Now, mediator and get existing article don't exist yet. So nothing to see in this one. Get existing article. Now, I was just return new article. Where's the top half of this? I've gone too far. Ah, here it is. Create tests, mock page context. So this is everything that Ashley brought down through get existing article to there. right? No, wait a sec. Wait a sec. It does look like it combined a few methods. Hang on. This is going to get a little hairy here. Let's go up to the top and commands, queries. We need them both. Next red. All right. So username, that's fine. We're going to get rid of the fake mediator here in a bit. But we have our underscore mediator is what Ashley is using. Okay. So this is never used. Oh, but it is. All right, so create tests, get existing article we need for the article repository. It's merging in the wrong spot. You have... All right, let's do this. Let's go over here. Create tests, get existing article. You actually nuked all of this so that the article repo and subject under test are part of create tests. Article repo. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is a bit of a mess. Don't save that. Try that again. All right. Get rid of that. We need this. We need that. I'm okay with the various fields that we're adding. Okay. Continuing down. So, create tests, mock page context. Yeah. The diff blooped up a little. Blooped up a little. Okay. I prefer somebody else writes the tests against what I'm supposed to code. Is that also TDD? Depends. Did they write the test before you started coding? Yeah, it looks like it didn't merge the right lines together. So what I want to do this is the one file that's changed, is create tests. All right, hang on. Whatever. So inside of create tests, we should just have article repository, logger factory, and mediator. Article repository. Now, logger factory. These look like they're in get existing article. They're not. They're actually in create tests. Right, these are actually here. What? All right. I'm gonna get back to that in a bit. So article repository, logger factory. Now, so here, right? These are the two. right? These are the two create tests methods that we have. Now I have two get existing articles. Do I? I have one there. I do. One on line 41 and one on line 93. Where's that first one? Oh, look what you did there. Fancy. All right. I can do that. So here's the two differences in the create tests, right? We have the article repository field and a service provider that's getting the iLogger factory, and then article repository setup, which is doing the same thing here. So I'm not a fan of the service bit here. I'm going to go with what Ashley has here. And let's see what that breaks. Moving along down here. So we're no longer using fake Mediator. Fine, we'll get rid of those. Get rid of that. Okay. Now here's the code that Brave Cobra wrote. No. No, we're good. Okay. Yeah. Okay, then here's the OnPost. And that's a thing there. All right, and we can get rid of that. And this. Okay. That'll break OnPost async. Right, so I'm gonna have to refactor just a little bit there. Hey, Pac-Man Jr., I didn't have a chance to thank you yesterday. Thank you for the resub yesterday during our show with Carl and Richard. I really appreciated that, and you've got the red mug loyalty indicator now as a subscriber. Very cool stuff. And Cryptrix has one as well. Cool. I feel that writing my own tests, I'm testing what I code, which is not always what I is supposed to code. Having another write the test helps define such misunderstandings. That's interesting. And I think that's an interesting approach that you see folks use when they do things like behavior-driven development, where they can hand off to their business analysts or program managers that given when then syntax that ends up getting turned into, right? With the Gherkin pseudo language, right? That gets turned into real unit tests that get executed. It's interesting stuff. Hey, good morning, Code for Veronica. Thanks so much for joining us. Great to see you today, Veronica. LM Orchard, for what it's worth, if you're not writing your unit tests while you're writing your code, you're likely not being nudged to break up your code into little testable units. True. If somebody else writes tests, that might be better for black box integration tests. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Just do it and write your own tests. Git diff doesn't appear to like that type of change. That'll break the OnPost async. Yep, sure did. So we'll fix that. Iota, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. iLogger get mocks right. Yes. So it just won't do any logging. Exactly. Writing your own unit tests also helps you make sure you understand what you're writing because you're asserted what it should do, and then you make it do that. Code review with a peer can help verify that both of those are correct. Well, that's why folks say you should be pair programming. Let's see what broke here. So, open this up. Let's see, where do we go? End of stack trace from previous location where exception was thrown. That's so nice. You know, pain in my neck. Moving on. Article repo equals new mock article repository setup. Mediator equals new mock iMediator. Okay. Mediator setup, and then, so that's this. Mediator object, article repo object. Logger factory isn't a thing. It's not initialized with anything. Right. So instead, let's make this, let's make it that. Dot object, because we're not actually doing anything with it. And then we can just make this like that. What do we got? All right. Could just use the same subject under test rather than creating a new one on the OnPost. Yes, and let's figure that out. I want to try and get as much of this testing as possible. Well, we need to pass in the page context, so slightly different. An article equals new article create DTO. So we could inject that. So the error now is logger extensions log. Why is it trying to log? What's trying to log? Are we logging something inside of our create? Who would do such a thing? Who would do such a thing? Logger log warning. Fine. Be that way. Oh, and actually you can't, those are extension methods. Ow! Great point, Pac-Man Jr. LM Orchard, try using LiveShare. It is amazing for that. I do see why you did what you did, Brave Cobra. Not a fan. Not a fan of that at all. Gives me the willies. And I'd rather not create and use the console logger or the service. Mountain Coder, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate the follow. And that helps us in our Rainbow Beard Challenge. That wouldn't help an 8-hour time difference. Oh yeah, that's a problem. Static method testing debacle. I know. And the logging isn't. Is there a no logger? I think you're right. I remember. Null logger. Fantastic. It's in Microsoft Extensions logging testing. You're kidding me, right? Do I? And there's also test logger. What's this one do? That just makes me sad. I'm just going to use test logger. Give me a new test logger. Put that in. Blair 530. Thanks so much for the follow. I didn't follow. Wait. I've been watching for ages. Well, thank you. And a no logger factory. We need the factory version? No. Do we? do we? In the create here. We do. All right. So let's use the test logger factory. Actually, we could probably use the, you're right, the null logger factory. This one, so let's get rid of that. Don't need it, right? Don't need that. And then can I just say new test logger factory? Can I do that? Or better yet, new null logger factory? Is that a thing that I can use? It might have worked. Maybe. There's somewhere else with a red. There. New null logger factory. Come on, unit tests. Greens! Love it. All right. Add the package. Didn't need to add the package. It was already in there. Much cleaner. Absolutely. Much, much better. I like it. All right, so everything's merged to get in Ashley's changes. So we'll do the thing. Let's move this up so everybody can see what I'm doing. Add, git commit, merged. And then we'll do this, and I'll go up, up. You stink. There we go. And we'll copy this code, paste it in. Yes! And then we can get rid of... That's not the right one. That one. And that's merged. Yes, merged. There it is. All checks have passed. Woohoo! Thanks for the contribution and clearing up that mock mediator issue. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I often even in unit tests, the real logger with full file writing active helps to find issues in multi-thread systems. Well, there's a test logger that we could use as well. Hey, Welsh Ronaldo, thank you for the bot emote. All right, let's now let's see if we can simplify a little bit of what Brave Cobra brought us in that post method. Here, using the, well, I think we've already got a mock mediator. Are we using? Okay, are we using fake mediator anywhere now? Right? No, we're not using it. Got two references though. It's got one reference, but it's its own constructor, which isn't reference. So I get to do my favorite thing right now. Out of T exception, thank you so much for the subscription, bringing your Twitch Prime to us here. I will match that subscription, and we're going to make a donation to Girl Develop It. They're helping women and underserved minorities learn how to write code, just like we're doing here on stream. Thank you so much, Out of T exception, for your subscription, and for anybody else out there that has a Amazon Prime subscription. You can bring your Amazon Prime to Twitch and get a free Twitch Prime subscription. That'll get rid of some of those pre-roll advertisements you see before channels like mine here on Twitch. And you get one channel subscription for free. And if you choose to use your channel subscription here with me I'll give you the C# bot. You'll get a cool coffee mug follower, subscriber indicator next to your name, and we'll make a donation to Girl Develop It. So thank you for your support. And yep, good afternoon. There's an easy way to fix that out of T exception. Yes, there is. There absolutely is. But here's what I get to do. I get to delete fake Mediator CS. That makes me feel good. And all of my tests still run perfectly. Yes! Clean living pays off. No, kidding. Let's see, what do we have here? Tagaron says, one additional suggestion for logging. Shouldn't we move in the end to a big logger like Serolog? Adds itself into the system with a one-liner and brings lots of additional features. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. I think what we need to consider at some point is having an extension-based model like our friend Miguel Castro was showing us, so that for some of those providers like Serolog, we're able to inject that configuration from outside, from our configuration files or from a database set of keys, so that depending on where you deploy and what features you want to light up, you can get that interaction easily. I think it's a great idea to bring Serolog as an option. And it does. It just plugs in. Yep. Love that it just plugs in. All right. Look at that. There's testimony from Welsh Ronaldo. It just works great with Core. And you know what? It can be done.
It can be done exactly how I want it.
It will.
The only question is, are you the man to do it?
Of course I am. Walter White. I need more name sound drops, more character sound drops that I can put in there. Cumbar Capes, is that... I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Have you discussed why you're using XUnit rather than other testing frameworks in any of your VODs? I may have mentioned it before, and really it was just because that was the one that I decided to grab for this project. You can use NUnit, you can use MS Test. For this project, I thought let's use XUnit. I think one of the leaders of the XUnit project, Brad Wilson, really wants us to join us here. Really wants to join us here and do some XUnit work with us here on stream. I need to follow up with him. Trying to convince my company to move from MS Test to XUnit. You know what I'm going to do, Cumbar Capes? I'm going to prioritize that phone call with Brad and see if we can get him in sooner than later. Where's my sticky notes? So let's get Brad on stream sooner than later. See if we can get that done, so that we can have that discussion. Because that's a legitimate question that I'm sure a lot of folks have. Oh, I need to use MS Test. That's the Microsoft Test framework. Why should I use XUnit? I get it. I've heard those types of questions before. Okay, so I think looking down at the OnPost here, I'm tempted to take, and tell me if I'm wrong here, team. I'm gonna bring over Solution Explorer here. Looking at the tests, so we have Core Wiki test, pages, create tests. I'm tempted to break this into two classes to help make organizing this a little bit easier. So let's create a new folder here and let's call it create. And I'm going to create a class in here. There we go. And let's call this on get. Okay. And I'm going to grab create tests and I'm going to start with collapsing everything down so I can see it. Let me grab just these on get tests. Make that. All right. Now let's start control dotting some of these. I'm going to get rid of the onGet because we're inside of an onGet. We know that we're using onGet. Page result, we're going to need that. We need to get system under test in here. We need to get Mediator in here at some point. This needs to be a thing. Okay. All right. So now I don't need mock page context. I do need the system under test. And this. Let's see if we can paste those in. Now I need some fields. We need this. Yep. Okay. Mock. We need the mock bits. Good. This is the constructor, so we need to rename that. We're going to need that interface. We're going to need that reference. And that reference. And this reference. That field. That field. So far, an NUnit guy never liked MS Test. I did a Pluralsight course on XUnit. The theory stuff seems cool. Yes. So inside of XUnit, you have that feature of theories where you can actually have the same test run multiple times with different data points being passed in. Makes it extremely valuable and reusable there. So we've got a couple of fields here that we need around existing and new article slug. So let's do those. What more reds do we have? Get article and new article topic. All right. And I needed the get article. Where? Get article. Oh, that's a query object. There we go. And that should do it. All those tests pass. And we've started to break this out a little bit. So core wiki test pages. Yeah. I feel like this needs to, right? So on get is core wiki test pages create. So this will break out a little bit easier. And I'm going to rename some of these as well. Let me get rid of some of these on gets. Cool. There we go. Look at that. That ran really fast. Awesome. Now I'm going to move that post, which is still in the create tests. Let's just rename this. No, wait. If I do the rename over here, right, to OnPost. Yes, please. And then move this here. Yeah. Do it. Dot create. Huh? Now, this is naming a rule violation. You make me sad. Why isn't it telling me some of these things aren't being used? Right? And I can also take the OnPost async out of that. Cool. I was reading that XUnit is basically NUnit but modernized. Do it! Just go to it. I agree with Janesco. Alright, so that... I like that organization a little bit better for this. And what we could really do... Makes the method names more readable. It does. If we needed to drill down and test a little bit further, we could actually create a class here called given user is authenticated. Right? And then have different tests that we want to do in there. Yeah, Wampa TV. I do like XUnit over MS Test. I've never been a fan of MS Test. The way that some of the interactions with the test framework are structured are not my favorite. So the wife bought me a new shaker. And it's blue. Let's see. Okay, good. I told her don't buy me a blue shaker. I said if you don't buy me a green shaker. If you buy me a green shaker, it'll disappear on stream in front of the green screen. She said that's silly. I said well just don't get green. And the only plain shaker that they have over at G Fuel right now is green. I'm like not buying the green G Fuel shaker. It is cool. I tried it over when I visited Chef Brent and Alley Face. I enjoyed it. It's a lot better for maintaining my energy through the day instead of by a blue screen. Shut up. A blue screen. What? No. The other side of my screen is blue, and when I want to wear green, anything Eagles, which are green, I turn it around. All right, I wanted to see if we could refactor this a little bit more. I'm seeing the exact same constructor and some of these fields being used in both the OnPost and OnGet. And I need to learn fluent assertions at some point. Thank you for bringing that up, Ozcoder. So let's see, I'm going to open, I don't want class view, I want that one. So let's call this base create, no, just base fixture. And I'm going to make this a public abstract, yeah, there we go. Okay. No. That's better. And I'm going to take OnPost, and I'm going to make this inherit from that. And now I should be able to move some of these things into it that we're creating here that are the same in both places. So let's do that. I'm going to take this, right, create a constructor here. Okay. And I'm going to take all of these, get rid of this. Now, some of these are specific to post and some of these are specific to get. And we'll figure out and move those around appropriately in just a minute. Get existing article. Here's something that's right. Get existing article is this. Right, bring that down here. We need one of these. And I'm going to make this protected. Need one of those. some of this, a little of that. All right. So now let's make this protected. We'll figure out the names. Fixing the names a little bit later. Yep. Let's make that a thing. Do we need user ID in? Let's do this and that. One of these. I feel like this should be a hotkey. Okay, so those are now all a thing, and now OnPost just works. We can get rid of that. I can go back over to onGet, and I will inherit now from base fixture. And I can get rid of all that because it's repeated. What do you think? My mock setups are going to be different. Yes, they are. And those setups are going to, right, I'll put those specific things in each class. Right now I've kind of, I'm still kind of separating these two. That's funny. They're not quite lined up right. So if I look at OnPost, I don't think this is using the existing article slug. No, it's not. So this I'm going to take over to onGet. And it still works good. Okay. Right, so my base fixture, this is different. And in the post, I have a different article repository that we're using. And I'm not using the create model that's created over in the get. So this whole thing here is actually right. This is all get only stuff. So let me put that over specific to onGet. Put it back over here, right? All right. So Mediator, right? That works now. All right. Cool. Totally random viewer question. No such thing as totally random, Adrian. Why are you building a blog using C# instead of JavaScript? Why not? Why build a blog with JavaScript? Let's turn that around. I'm a .NET developer. I enjoy .NET. I like using Visual Studio. Why not? I feel like the performance of JavaScript, it currently doesn't match what we can do with .NET Core. There's stability with .NET Core. There's supportability with .NET Core and C#. I could continue on why I prefer .NET over JavaScript. It's really a preference. There we go. Existing article slug is in the base fixture. Is OnPost using... Where is it being referenced? Only in onGet. So I wish I could, right? I wish I could do this and say promote. You know? So it's only in on get. So let's put that there. And let's move this down after the constructor because I don't like methods before my constructor. Basically it's because I can. Why not? JavaScript Fritz. Yeah, you came onto a channel called C# Fritz and you expected me to be writing JavaScript? Come on now. Let me tell you something.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
I have some skills.
Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Very long career. We do TypeScript. Alright, so now my base fixture just has these properties that we're really sharing between the two at this point. Because my post doesn't really need any setup, but I do feel like mock page context we want to put somewhere that we can share. And some of the setup that we're doing here and should create new non-existing article and redirect. I feel like this we could... Yeah, I feel like we could do a little bit here as well. C# script. We do have F# Fritz. Check it out on Twitter. That's my crazy... That's my crazy twin cousin, F# Fritz. C# looks so much nicer aesthetically than Objective-C. There's a lot that looks so much nicer than Objective-C. Objective-C is a little crazy. There's a reason why they invented Swift. Cake is a little bit of C# script. Yeah. Our friend Glenn Block worked with some folks, including Justin Rusbatch, on some of the concepts around C# scripting, and I forget what they call it. But they have a complete scripting language using C#. Poor Objective-C, oh please. Objective-C is a holdover from Next. Alright, I wanted to take this mock page context and see what we could do to make this a little bit more... see what we could do to make this a little bit more reusable as we write more unit tests. So let's do this. I want to make username and, well, user ID is a GUID, isn't it? Yeah. All right. GUID, user ID. And you know what? Let's default it to GUID dot, not new GUID, empty. Why doesn't it like that? Must be a compile time constant. You stink. Isn't GUID.empty a constant? Ugh. Ugh. Now I feel bad. Fine. And then let's take IEnumerable, watch this, of type claim, called additional claims equals claim, like that. Huh? What? What? Default parameter must be a compiled. How is that not a default? Let's say no. Fine. Be that way. I don't know how that's not a constant. That feels weird. Library manager's done. Cool. Script CS. That's what it was. Thanks so much. And the CSX extension. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this to pull from username. And that's user ID. Cool. New claim, name. Why is that there? Because claim type's name is actual. Well, all right. And then let's do claims.add additional claims. No, I want to do add range. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's a thing now. All right, now that page context is actually used. Where's this referenced? Right, so page context is here. So now I'll pass in username, user ID, and then, why, you know like? Psh. Come on now. Value cannot be null. You make me sad. Bite me. It works. All right. So that page context, where is it being abused here? New create model page context. Yeah. So this is a page model. So what if we did this? Zarakan, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us here today. And look forward to seeing you in the chat room. And we're moving that follower goal along. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets, sign up. I have a feeling we'll get a little bit of a boost when that .NET Rocks episode goes live. Because they have a little bit of an audience, you know what I mean? What happened here? What do we got? All right. Just taking a peek at the chatter over on Twitter, see if anybody's doing this. I was a Perl developer once upon a time, Bokyo says. Bokyo. I don't know what that designer thing is. We don't need no stinking designers. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a class here under pages. And let's call this page model extensions. And we will make this a public static class. A collection of useful methods for testing our page models. All right. And I'm going to move this, not that one, this one over there. And it's going to break things for a little bit. And that's okay. So, I'm going to have this return void. And let's call this add page context. And this page model. Okay. And we need to bring in that. Got to bring in some other using statements. Good. Sure, we'll bring in that too. Some of these. One of those. Oh, wait a sec. Hang on. Wait a tick. One of the things that was announced in that Visual Studio set of features was the ability to navigate from code from one to the next when it has the red squigglies. Next previous issue, Alt page up, page down. Let's try it. Right, so if I do Alt page down, right, Control dot, using statement. Alt page down, Alt page down. There we go. Cool. Alt page down. Nice. Okay, so now, right, extension method must be static. Right. So let's make this public static void add page context. And we're not returning a page context. Instead, I'm going to go back over to OnPost, where it was mock page context. I'm going to hang off of this add page context. So let's take that, rename this to add, and then what I should be able to do is say SUT add page context and change that to a semi. And I'm going to take the comment here and put it up there. And that actually feels pretty good. What I'll do here is I'll say, where is it? Page model dot page context equals. Look at that. What do you think? XUnit has the concept of test fixtures. Do they? Helps with the whole context setup sharing. Yes. Yeah, I've seen that. Now look, the checks are all lined up funny because of word wrap. But I'm pretty happy with how that looks now. Because now I've got some helper methods, and my OnPost is now getting a lot simpler. Right, if I really, right, I should move these up here. Right, and let's make these private const string. Oops, my bad. Because I want to make my tests as simple as possible so that we can start spinning these out quickly. Adrian, interested in the music. Oh my gosh. We did add some time to test execution. We'll have to take a look at that. So the music that you're hearing, this is called Music to Code By. It's from our friend Carl Franklin, who runs the .NET Rocks podcast. If we ask a question about the music, what is this music? The bot will tell you. Here's where you can go to learn more about it. It's scientifically designed to get you in the groove, to get you focused on whatever task you may be working on. Really great stuff. What is the test coverage percentage? It's terrible, Bokyo. It's terrible. We need to work on that. I forget, where is it? I think we can, isn't it right click here? We can check the test coverage, right? I don't see it there. Tests, analyze code coverage, all tests. We don't talk about the test coverage.
And you blow it!
We did. Fixipple, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you joining us. Not covered, 94% of the project. That's terrible. Typo in that link. It has the bracket. Yeah, I see it there. Hanselman has a post about LCOV and gutters. Yes, in fact, I was talking about .NET Conf earlier. The author of Coverlit, the project that Scott uses with LCOV and the gutters on Visual Studio Code, he's giving a presentation from his home in Africa during .NET Conf. Go buy some tuna. What? Tuna? Where'd that come from? All right. Let's see what we can do here. So where else can we simplify here? We're using Mediator on this page, so I feel like the mock Mediator we could move out a little bit, since that's always going to be used on our pages. And I think we already have the mock Mediator here in the base fixture. So I could, if I change, where is it? If I get rid of this, right? I could do that. That's better. And I've done that setup now, and here, and that should still work. Unless it doesn't. Why doesn't that work? Protected mock iMediator mediator. Oh, because it's not being created yet. So now I can move that. Haha, look at this. I can take that and put it into here, there. Right? Not bad. You can reuse the iArticle repo variable. Let's take a look at that one. So there's article repository setup. And this uses article repository setup. Right? Underscore article repo. So yeah, instead of creating that, we can do this, which means one of these, and that, which also means I need to create the article repository in the base fixture, which that's doing. Here. Come on. I broke it. This needs to have a thing. So does that. No more reds. All good. Fantastic. All right. So now we're reusing the article repository. We're not creating that in here. There's the page context. Da, da, da. All right. Jay Rosegard. Oh my gosh, it's been a while. Hello, hello. Good to see you. And Silent TV 22. I like to have my TV turned up. I don't like it on silent. But welcome. What happened here? Uh-oh. Now I've done it. I assume with your private const variables means that you are violating my naming standards. Me? Of course I'm violating them. That's better. Thank you for catching that, Smap. We have conventions. Shut up.
And you blow it!
Nice to be back. Yeah, thank you. Mind if I ask a random question code question? As long as it's a question code question. Always. Absolutely Silent TV. We love questions here. Always happy to discuss. So, Xtol1. Hello, hello. Great to see you. let us know what your question is. And we won't let it get away from us. All right. So let's see here. I think that's all I can really do without some major surgery here. Some additional major surgery. Only in random order. Oh, we're getting a little crazy today. All right, I'm going to commit these changes. Cool. It's not the comma. I didn't want to add the comma. No comma. That's better. All right, and so we refactored the create page unit tests. I think that was a valuable refactoring. Let's get back to the actual refactoring. Yes. So now we have our unit tests running, and they're pretty cool. They do their thing. Working with C# and WPF user interface. So WPF, Windows Presentation Foundation. So that's a user interface framework you can use with .NET inside of Windows to build a Windows application. Do you have any idea how to get one app to display on two monitors where each monitor is different buttons and I can do same display on both, but I need one to have buttons, other to have video. So you want to run, hang on, you want one app on multiple monitors, and depending on which monitor it's on, so are you stretching the application across to those other monitors? And you want to do different layout when it gets stretched onto the other monitor? Or is it... I like the follow-up questions, and let's make sure we give our friend Silent TV here a chance to respond. But Fretia and Roosh, welcome. I think those are valid questions. Are they two different windows for two instances of the same application? When it opens on both monitors. One is buttons and one is video. Okay. So that's interesting. And you want... Yeah. So you want, right, clearly if it's... You've got the application, right, stretched out, so it's across both monitors. I like what Fretia and Roosh are suggesting. If you open the same application twice, you can have the two instances communicate to each other with a little RPC, remote procedure call. Yeah. Two separate windows of the same app interacting with commands. Yep. So you would issue a command across to the other application, the other instance that's running. What if the other is an IoT application? So if you open another IoT app with screens activate. You did it as two windows, but it only displays the same thing. Using the same view model. Two windows of the same application. Well, you can detect which display you're on, right? And you could have the two windows communicate like Brave Cobra is saying to some sort of a broker object that coordinates, okay, you're in this mode, you're in that mode. Two separate windows, two separate view models. And then you have a broker that communicates between them. So you'll have two forms open at the same time. Should work. But I like the idea of the broker in between coordinating the two. Yes, I agree, Brave Cobra. Only one can have focus, and it sounds like if I'm reading into what Silent TV is trying to do correctly, and let me know if I'm wrong, you want to have video playing on one screen, and on the other screen you want to have buttons to control that video. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Roosh. I think that sounds right. So almost like a video player kiosk that you're creating, where one screen is the actual, here's the output, here's what maybe even for a projector, here's what we're projecting on video, and then your local screen, maybe a touch screen or something, has big, nice finger-sized buttons, and you're pressing to play. It could be either two applications, or if it's one application that has two windows, you want the button window to have focus and update the video appropriately. That's an interesting problem, Silent TV. I think you got some good feedback here. Let us know how you do with that. Have the Android app with buttons talk to the broker as well. Ooh. That's a neat idea. You know, as a follow-up, be able to have your phone be able to communicate into it and do that. Project Rome? Yeah. All right. Neat stuff. Very cool stuff. I'm going to go back over to here. Let's make sure that my code built properly in Project New Data. I got to be careful how I say new data, because sometimes that sounds like I'm saying nude data. That's not a thing. Why isn't it showing me? Shouldn't it show me the test that ran here? Right? It's not showing me the little indicator doodad next to it. Oh, there it is. So, AppVeyor built it successfully. So, oh, and here's Smab put lib manager integration into this to take care of, eliminating and simplifying package JSON and bundle config. So you don't need Node in order to build the application. Nice. Right, so this is completely removing bundle config. Oh my gosh. Just nuke that entire file. Now libman.json says, go get me Twitter Bootstrap, put it down into the Bootstrap dist folder, and I only need these files. We need popper for the MDE, I think it was. CDN.js for jQuery validation, jQuery validate, moment.js. We're just going to bring the whole shoot match down into this location. Simple MDE, and we're only bringing those files. Nice. And then we removed package.lock.json, got completely removed. Package.json is only bringing in Bootstrap 4.1.3. Why is Bootstrap 4.1.3 still hanging out there? I've made something like that for entrance of a discotheque, where there was a small screen facing the customer with its picture taken from a cam, and the price of entrance and so on, another screen facing the person behind the desk. Nice. That's pretty cool, Fretya. Yeah, is Smap still here? I'm curious why Bootstrap... Nah, it looks like he took off. Why the 4.1.3 of Bootstrap is still here in project package.json. Because... Oh, no. Oh, I see. No. It's going to CDN.js to get Bootstrap. You didn't completely nuke bundle config, so the only thing still going on in bundle config is some of the move things that happens at the end here. Dear Lord. For sitemin.js. Hey, there it is. We compile them from the node. Okay, that makes sense. And it did compile. All right. You know what? Let's just bring this down real quick and take a look. Make sure we still get the stuff working. That's not it. That's not it. That's going to dev. Okay. Then we'll merge it down. So now if I .NET run, does it run everything? Come on. Localhost 8081. Looks good to me. Oh yeah. Ooh. Somebody's grumpy. Find by email async on users. I'm not gonna get choked up about that right now. But looks good. Thanks for this update. I always like simplifying code. Awesome stuff. All right. Let me go back. Cool. All right. And we'll merge that dev branch around in a little bit. So we did have this issue that we wanted to fix. After article create, no longer prompts for new article links. I want to see if we can take care of this real quick. And then we'll wrap up for the day. Yep, reload, that's fine. So here on the create page, yeah, that's fine. Go away. Shoo. I know. Come on, Test Explorer. There it goes. And now we'll see our test run. We'll see our test run. Do it. Come on. What do we got over here? Good. So the bit that we want to put back in, see if we can take care of this real quick, is right here. After we're done publishing the command to create, if there are article links, we should go create the article. Hey, Fierce Kittens, good morning. And no, that command does not work here. Is that Aggle Beatboxer? I hope I pronounced that right. Aggle or Ag? Yeah, Aggle Beatboxer. Hello, welcome. Fierce Kittens has a command on her stream, the lewd command, and it summons Mini Burger is her name. All right. So let's see if we can put this in. So we're going to use the continue with, and we're going to actually tell it, all right, go see if there's other articles out there that need to be created from this. And that means we're going to create another query in our CQRS approach here. So that additional query will be, and we already actually started it here, get articles to create from article. And the parameter that we want to pass in with that is going to be the slug for the article. So we'll just create we'll create a constructor here. Actually, we're in the constructor. What am I thinking? This dot slug equals slug. Right, the slug is the is that little bit of string, that little string piece of our URL that we're going to fill in, right? That we're going to use to locate our articles inside of the wiki. So we're just creating this very simple command to go get articles to create from a given article. And we need to create a handler that knows how to work with this. And that handler We already have the get article handler. We're going to create another one here. And we're going to use a very similar syntax. And this is going to be, right? Get articles to create from article. That's not how you spell that. Oh, rats. Forgot an L. Handler. There we go. Yes, rename it. Thank you. All right. So this is a public class. Now, I'm cheating here. Ta-ta. I need one of these. All right. So this is a iRequest handler, right? This is going to handle that request. It's not get article, but it's get articles to create. And we're going to be returning an, let's return an enumerable of type article. All right, now this is going to get all kinds of grumpy here because I don't implement the interface properly. Get articles to create from article cannot be used as type. There is no implicit conversion from get articles to create from article to Mediator iRequest, blah, blah, blah. Sure there is. It's an iRequest of, right? iRequest, oh. Yeah, we're not actually returning the collection of articles. I can just return the slugs, right? Which are just strings. I don't need the IEnumerable. That's overdoing it a bit. So now I've got a problem here because this needs to be returning a string like that, right? Better, much better. What do we got here? Does the box that says now live near the Discord box find the location of each user? I don't know. It might. I think it does. You publish to Discord because you have it open. Now, why is that? Why do I have a thing there? Go away. Now, what's that upset about? What don't you like? Does not implement get articles to create from article string. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I'll prove it to you. Control dot on that, implement. Right, there we go. I feel like this should be an async. Right, I feel like this should be an async task. Right, can I do that? Can I make this async task? Like that? No, doesn't like it. Async request handler. If I do that, request handler, async request handler, that's a type. Now, why doesn't it like that? Right? That's a thing, isn't it? Single generic. Okay, and then implement that. And now I'm returning a task with no specific type that I'm returning. From to iMediator iRequest. Yes, there is. Right? That's an... Oh. It doesn't like it because I'm returning something. Yeah. I think we need to make this just a request handler. Yeah. And then I have to make this synchronous. That's fine. There we go. All right. But I need my constructor, and I'm going to be receiving an iArticle repository. There we go. We will receive one of those. This dot article repository equals left right monkey code, blah blah blah. That's fine. And then what I want to do is I want to return dot now get article. Now, how is it doing it before? So before over here, it was redirecting to create article from link, just directly. So let's look at that page, because that page actually goes through and does this. Does all this goo that... Here it is. Article helpers get articles to create. That I don't like. So it's taking an article repository, an article, and whether or not... whether or not to create those as... I mentioned the article helper should be the article app service. Yes, you did. The async handler also has been removed in the newest version of Mediator. Aha. New on this stream, can you tell me what you're writing? Certainly, Cuckoo Brew. Welcome. We're working on a project that I've been iterating on for a bit here called Core Wiki. It's available right here on GitHub. You can find all the source code for it. We haven't deployed it publicly yet, but we've been slowly building this simple content management system, which now isn't as simple as it originally was. But we've been slowly building this using ASP.NET Core, C#, a little bit of JavaScript, a little bit of CSS, and we've been having a good time learning about additional frameworks and features and architectures as we've been going through the process of building the application. Right now, we're doing a bit of refactoring from simple create, read, update, and delete pages to use the CQRS architecture, right? Command, query, responsibility separation. This is a architecture that allows us to separate our reads from our writes to the data store. We've talked about it a bit here over the last couple streams. You can find a link to the playlist that has all kinds of information about this. And how we got here on YouTube. And Fierce Kittens loves JavaScript, loves it. That doesn't blow up fast enough. Hang on, I gotta fix my Stream Deck here. It shouldn't be play stop, it should be play overlap. That's what I want. And we want that bomb to be a little bit louder. There we go. That's how Fierce Kittens feels about JavaScript. There you go. I'm curious, but is this application CQRS or CQS? Oh, guess you need to have two separate data stores. You are right, we're still refactoring. We haven't introduced that second data store yet, but you are so right, Jay Roseguard, that we're not quite there yet. We've only worked on the first page at this point. I can deal with JavaScript if I can write it in TypeScript, or at least make use of the TypeScript transpiler. Yes, you get some great linting from that. So this article helper, where it does get articles to create, right? This is where we're actually doing the thing, because find wiki article links, right? This goes after the content and goes and finds those links. So I'm going to need this inside of my query handler over here, right? So let's introduce this over here. And not that one. Article helpers, that's where we were. And then it's... let's just copy. This has some references up top. Let me just bring this whole enchilada over. Oh, find wiki article links is actually, look at that. It's an inner function. It's not intended to be out there by itself. It's a private function to that method. Fancy. Our friend Mads Torgerson, who's the language design lead for C#, worked with us at Build about introducing some of these in one of our other projects. These private functions are only visible to the method that they're inside of. Really neat way to write some code. We're going to need regexes here. Yep. Do that. This, we're going to need some link. Good. All right. Now here's URL helpers. That URL helpers URL friendly feature, right? We moved this somewhere, didn't we? And I forget where. Let's see. If I copy that and do a find, because I don't remember where I moved it. Ah, it's in the domain article. Fantastic. All right. So I can go back over to my handler here and say core.domain.article. Spell article right, Jeff. There we go. And I get that same feature. Good. All right. Now, this is going after the article content here. I don't want it going after article content because I only want to receive that slug that we're looking up. So this, I'm actually going to take this private. That's fine. It's an async task. Article repository. Well, article repository is already here. Let's get rid of the static. So I don't need that. And I want to receive the slug. I'm not sure what to do with create slug yet, so we'll figure that out in a minute. Articles create, that's fine. Var, let's call it this article instead of article, because I don't want to get it too confusing. Equals article repository get article by slug, and then the slug is this, right? And we're going to await that so that we get the article coming back. Now I can change this to this article, this article. Okay. So now we have, let's call this new slug. I can reference article repository, and this is this article ID. Okay. I don't need to... Does the slug already exist in the database? Right? I don't think I want to do this here. Let's do this. Let's get rid of this bit for right here. I don't think I ever want to create the slugs like this. I'm just returning that list. So let's get rid of this. Right? So... Cuckoo Brew, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you joining us, and you're helping us reach that Rainbow Beard Challenge goal. If we reach 5,000 followers by the middle of October, I'm going to dye the old soup catcher here rainbow colored, thanks to a challenge from our friend Moz. Fierce Kittens knows Moz. Yes, that's quite funny, isn't it? And I've actually got some friends at a company that said, oh, we're going to promote this, and we're going to make you dye that. And they said, if you do, we want you to wear a unicorn hat. You like that, Fierce Kittens? A unicorn hat. I said, you're on. Bring it. So we'll see how that goes. So I think that's all I really need here for my get articles to create. So I can turn this around and say, return get articles to create, and then pass in the slug for my request. There it is. Now this is an async, so we actually need to run that task. So var task equals this. Task dot. I don't want to do. I want to do wait. No. Task dot. Sprocken Cat, thanks so much for the subscription. We need some rainbow beard Fritz. Sprocken Cat, thank you for using your Twitch Prime here with us. I'm going to match your subscription, and we're going to make a donation to our friends at Girl Develop It. We're making that donation in just a few weeks. We're going to make a big donation to them. We're matching. My employer is matching, and for the new school year, they're going to get a lot of support. But to show my thanks, you're going to get a little coffee mug support indicator next to your name here in the chat room, and of course you're going to get to use the C# bot everywhere you go here on Twitch. Thanks so much. All right, I need to do what I want to do. Task dots. Yeah, wait all. Right on that task. And right, I want to then return task.result, which should be, it's my list of strings. I need to make that an array. Good. Okay, so this will now handle and return that. So, right, here's that separation. So I'm going to go back to my create page. Now, Mediator, right, let me explain, let me make sure I do this. What this is doing is Mediator is going to send this command that says go create a new article. When it's done, I want to continue with, and I can actually write continue here, and now I can write some code for it to continue doing. What I want to do is I want to, well, I have slug, so I want to say I'm going to create a query, and it's a new get articles to create from article, and we're going to pass in our new articles slug, and we're going to say mediator dot send, and we're going to figure out if there's other stuff out there, and we're going to pass that query, and I don't need a cancellation token, so we're going to get back a list of slugs. That sounds weird, but it's true. All right. Yeah. Right? Suffix it with query. Mediator send call might not have been successful. Might not have been successful. Okay, so the return from this, how do I tell if it's successful? So I need to bring back one of these. If u dot well, wait, u is a task of type unit, so I want to say u dot result. How do I tell if it's successful? U dot status. Not created, but like... Oh, wow, lots of feedback coming in. All right, hang on. Suffix it with query. Suffix it with query. Well, the continue with will still run like we did with command. Okay. You're better off doing it in a separate line instead of continue with so you can check the return. That's what I was thinking. So how do we check the... You're right, let's make it separate. Let's get rid of the continue with. I kind of agree. That feels weird. Okay. If this failed, right, how are we going to know that it failed? Mediator supports async await handler, says Radnams. There is no send async, it's just send, right? It returns a task, right? So I'm doing the await on that. I tried using an await on the handler and it, right at the bottom, he's saying. I request handler. Now I thought, because I'd really prefer it to be, if I make that an I request handler, right, then this becomes a async task of type. Public async task of type. Right, now I don't have any awaits in here, so I can just do cool. That makes it easier. Why is this functionality not in create article handler? Oh, wait a sec. Why doesn't that? Hang on. What didn't that like? Oh, it needed a cancellation token. Not that one. This one. Cool. Without violating CQRS principles, a command can safely return the following data: execution result, error messages or validation errors. Yes. Aggregates new version number in case of success, because it's a query, not a command. You can return a Boolean value from your command. I get it. In here, you're suggesting returning a bool to indicate success, which means I need to go over to not get article, it's in the command. Create new article. This one. So this now needs to become, oh, dear Lord, I request handler bool, which means this becomes public async task bool. What did I miss? Create new article command. What doesn't it like? Not all code paths. Ah. Create article exception. I'm going to throw I'm going to return false there, otherwise return true. And we should do some additional logging Yeah, the bool does feel very wrong. Does the .NET world have its own set of tools for orchestrating microservices like Java does with the Spring stuff, or does it use the general stuff like Kubernetes? There is an effort to do orchestration with a Spring framework, Spring-like framework. It's coming. Service Fabric, yeah, but that's very specific to Azure. How else would you determine whether the command was successful or not? Right. So part of me feels like there should be a payload being returned from these that indicates success. That may or may not contain an exception and a status handler. Right. Command result. I remember building these a while ago. And it's just a simple POCO, right? This is a property. Let's make it bool for now. Successful, public exception. Exception? So that way we actually get something that's a little bit, instead of returning a bool, return a command result. Right, so then we're kind of forcing things into this model that we can, right, we can expand that command result. Trigger domain events, yeah, there's a whole nother layer there that gets ugly. So instead of just returning a Boolean, return an object that we can inspect that has some other information on it and take additional action. What? What do you think, Brave Cobra? You think I should fire additional messages out onto the Mediator? Can I do that? I don't have access to that. I'm on an I request handler. And I've gone way over on time here. I don't want to, I want to limit how far we go here. The handler can have a bus injected. Oh, I don't. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. There's a huge ripple effect coming. Yeah. Let me do this just to get us out the door. Right. Right, let's say result dot successful equals false, result dot exception equals new create article exception, and then can I there was an error creating the article, and then include the exception that was thrown here. Otherwise, and we're always going to return our result. And we're going to be optimistic right off the get-go, so that we only flip it to false down here. I know that's something recently it's added in the framework for exactly the type of thing we're trying to do. Left-hander can have CAN bus injected. Problem details. Not familiar with that. Exceptions only, yeah. Alright, so now our create new article command will return some sort of a status to indicate whether or not it was successful. and any kind of exception if we need to triage. And yes, we could throw that back out on a bus so that it gets interpreted and handled somewhere else. So we're going to receive from this a command result. All right. Right. To do inspect result to ensure it ran properly. We can add some unit tests around that. So now we're querying, and we're going to return this list of slugs, and this needs to be awaited as well. And then we're going to be able to say, and I'm noticing our tests haven't thrown up on us yet, which feels weird. They haven't actually been running here. That I have the best hats. Thank you. I have a feeling this is going to choke. Yeah. No. Can I convert lambda expression to intended delegate? Blah, 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 blah. All right, so we've got some breaks in the post. The list of slugs. So this will be a collection of strings. So here, I can bring this back. If list of slugs dot count, I can actually say any. Ah, no, no. Put the thing there. Now why doesn't it like that? List of slugs is a string, a collection of strings. Oh, dummy. Better. All right. Now why doesn't it? Nah, I'm okay with that. All right, so that all works now. Keeg, actually. I do have a lot of hats. I need to document them at some point. There's like a Tumblr that needs to happen there. Fritz hats, C# Fritz hats. Let me look at the error list here. It's right here. Task from result default unit. This is coming off of the create new article command. Let's make this, instead of a default result, this now needs to be a new command result with successful equals true. Now it should work. Right? Please? Show me the results. Is it doing the thing? Did it ram? Spit Ye, what are you making? We've been working on our core wiki project. This is a project that builds a simple content management system that looks and feels like a wiki. Yeah, why aren't the live tests running? I don't know how they got turned off. There it goes. And we've been slowly enhancing this on stream, and we're at a point now with the project that it's we're refactoring to introduce the CQRS architecture pattern. And there it goes. It's all running. All of our tests look good. We can add more tests later as we're and breaking it. Yes, we've broken it several times here. So I think we've reached a point here today where I'm pretty happy with it. I want to wrap up here. So let's add our changes. Oops, I need to go up one. Let's commit these. We reintroduced create article from links. Oh, thanks for the follow, Silent TV. And this fixes... Where's that issue? And thank you, Spit Ye, for the follows. I really appreciate that. We're moving closer and closer to our rainbow beard goal. I'll commit that, and we'll push it up. And that should close this. Right? We should get the close. Yep. Take care of that. Good. All right. We should see that in the project new data project. There it goes, and we'll see that flip over. Does CQRS really help if you're at a small enough scale that a monolith is good enough? No, it doesn't. It makes it, in fact, more complicated, and I think you're seeing that happen here. We've been slowly adding features, taking advantage of the pattern, and it's getting more and more complex. And we've spent 2 or 3 shows here, just trying to get the create page working. Now, once that's done, the rest of our pages should happen much more easily, and we're implementing tests along the way, which will make it much more robust, so that as we scale in the future, not just scale, but as we add features, it'll get simpler and simpler to manage. Now, I want to make sure that we get off to a raid here to go see Dev Chatter, so I'm going to set that up. And we go see Brendan. All right, everybody, go ahead and opt in. Let him know that you're coming over to visit him on his channel. That's all the time I have for today. I'll be back tomorrow, and we're going to do some more coding. We are not going to be doing our Xamarin workshop, but we're going to have a lot of fun working together tomorrow on more of this, and we'll be writing more code. Take care, everybody. We'll see you then.